that close?
Hey, all of you out there in Eorzea, welcome to She Heals I Take, your weekly Final Fantasy XIV podcast. Today is Friday, May 1st, and this is episode 216 of the Shit Podcast. I'm your host, Vegan Pete, and always by my side is the enchanting...
Hey guys, Avi Ale here. How you doing?
I am good, Avi. Thank you for being here. How are you?
By the way, when I asked Pete how the outline was coming today, he said, well, I came up with a new word to describe you. That was the big effort.
That's how I work good.
That was the big effort of the week, was the enchanting.
Being that it's May 1st, it is the first episode of the month. And that means we open up the community roundup to all of you, the community, to plug anything that you've going on. Doesn't have to necessarily be Final Fantasy XIV related. If you got a charity stream going on or something like that, whatever you want to plug, or if you want to plug something for maybe one of your friends who is a little shy and doesn't want to call in, or they're just busy and they can't call in themselves, you can call in for that as well. All you have to do is join our Discord, hop in the On Deck channel, and then I'll bring you into live on air, and we can see what you got to say. And don't forget, you can call into the show just to let us know what you think about what we're talking about, all the topics that we're going. It's always a lot of fun when you guys add to the show like that.
You just spin and look at you're actually good at like you just made all that up. I'm so proud of you. Like that's what you got to do. You got to do that. He never does that, guys. I'm proud of.
I like to write.
He's grown up.
Because it's the first episode of the month as well. That's when we like to catch up on our recurring subs. Those of you amazing people who do it every month, and of course we have last week's subs. Avi, I think you should take this long ass list.
Do you though?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
You talk great.
You talk pretty.
You said I never give you compliments.
You talk pretty. Bat Kid 01, Tier 1, Hoax 33.
Not Tier 1.
1 month. Thank you for that sub. That just happened when you hear that sound. Allure for Real, who's 4 months, as well as Satyr Eagle's Claw. And at 6 months, we have
Did you get Hoax?
I did. Whimsical Angel 394, Crow 623, Allura for Real, and Not _Papaya. 7 months is Johnny Smith Apple. 8 months is Rathok Ursulaser Mieko FF14 at Adlin. 9 months we got Sweecy 50, Raw Chicken Baguette, and Chansum 5. At 10 months we have Aninion Con, King of Nokos, and Agitated Salamander. 11 months is Voxna 7. And finally hitting their year mark is Aurora 42, who got that awesome crown on their little sub badge. Thank you so much, sweetheart. You're amazing. 15 months, we have Ace Kaneki. 21 months, Venjik. 27 months, Aurori. 28 months, Aja. 30. 31 months, Sorceress. 180. And closing it out at 33 months. Who do you think it is, Pete?
The one, the only, the real Hot Chili Pepper. Thank you all so much. It really helps us out a lot, you continuing to sub. And don't forget, if you're a Amazon Prime subscriber, you can get a free Twitch Prime sub to use every month. As always, you don't have to use it on us, but please link your Amazon account to your Twitch account. If you don't have a Twitch account, go make a Twitch account. It's free, it's easy, and then you can make some streamers every month, once a month. You can bring a little happiness into the world. Pretty easy, right, Avi?
Little happiness into the world. And honestly, right now, I think every little happiness is worth it.
And so, what do we got on tap today? We've got the live letter digest to go through.
Ooh.
We've got all the latest Final Fantasy news. Hopefully, some of you call in. We can get a little discussion going on. But before we get to that, we have everyone's favorite segment.
Can I go over this one because I just learned and I thought it was really cool?
All right, I taught you. Now you teach them.
Yeah. Greenleaf Minute.
It's the Greenleaf Minute, and here's the enchanting Avi.
So that's the name of the episode, right? Enchanting. So this week we're going to teach you a handy little feature in Garland Tools that Pete just taught me before we did this episode, and it's going to help you with your character's appearance, particularly if you're like you want to roleplay as a character from Final Fantasy XIV, and it will help you know how to make a character that looks as close to that character, if not exactly like that character as is possible. We do say a lot like and not exactly because there are a lot of times where those NPCs have a unique hairstyle that isn't actually an option for players to have, or gear sets or different things like that.
Yeah, Nanamo, for example, has a custom hairstyle.
Her hair is amazing.
She's got the custom wardrobe as well.
Nobody can look like her except maybe Emmy, but she's like our IRL Nanamo.
Yeah. IRL, she can look like her.
Yes. So say you love the color of Nanamo's like light pink hair, but when you're playing around with it in the character creation, you just can't seem to find the right pink that looks like it. And I'm sure all you glamour junkies know that when you're in there, you might make your character look amazing, and then as soon as you get out, you're like, what the fuck did I just do? That doesn't look anything like the effort, especially the blush. If you guys are playing with the blush, you gotta be careful there. You come out and you look like a freaking 3-year-old put it on your character's face.
And it's so hard to tell like what color it is too, just by that little square. Because a lot of times I see that square, I'm like, that's not going to look good at all. And then I click it, and I'm like, oh, that actually does look good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel it's a good representation of what the color really is. It's so small.
Side note, I feel like with every Fantasia and every like time you do the esthetician, you should have like 5 minutes that you're allowed to see your character in game and then go back and change it for free.
Buyer's remorse.
Like 5 minutes of like lemon law, because it sucks so much, especially with a Fantasia. If you get in and go, oh no, I picked that voice, and you're stuck with it unless you want to spend the money. So anyways,
it is a good gill sync.
So back to what we were actually talking about. So you can go to Garland Tools, and this will actually show you exactly what hair color Nanamo is using, so that when you select it in the esthetician or the character creation, it should be the same colors as hers in game.
I actually did test this out. I went to start doing a character creation, and I did Nanamo, for example, and the hair color looked really good.
Oh, nice.
Can't get the hairstyle. But.
So what you're going to do is go to garlandtools.org. You're going to select the Garland data option from the homepage, and then in the search bar, you're going to type the name of the NPC that you are looking to recreate, or maybe just like copy a little bit of their look, like you like the color of Alphino's eyes, or you just
want the facial hair. Someone's got some sweet mutton chops.
You like somebody's skin color, like whatever. You can put it in, and it'll give you everything from their race, their tribe, their gender, their height, etc. Most of these are pretty self-explanatory, but when you get to skin color, hair color, eye colors, all the colors listed as 2 numbers, say 10-2, for example, and that's Nanamo's hair color. And the first represents the row, and the second represents the column. And that means Nanamo's hair color would be option in the 10th row, second column. So 10-2, got some math.
Yeah. And if you don't know rows from columns, rows go horizontally. Little IRL Greenleaf Minute.
Excel. So some of the options are custom to NPCs, so you really won't be able to recreate everything. But if they make use of an option that is in game, then for the players, then it will list it. And then you can also like purchase particular hairstyles like Yoshitola's and there's so many of them, I don't even know anymore. But you can buy them in the Mogstation, so you can get all the colors right, and then once you get into the game, go to the esthetician and then equip that cash shop hairstyle or gear set or whatever you got to make it look just like them. You can also click the equipment drop-down arrow to see if any of their gear is available in-game. And the final drop-down you can pick is from alternate instances. And all of the options for a character that show up by default are how they looked when we first saw them. However, some characters tend to change over time, thank goodness, because honestly, Yoshitola's original outfit was a little frumpy. So when you look at her alternate instances in Shadowbringers, her eye color is going to change and her gear is going to change. And so you may have to do a little bit of searching through all of these various alternate instances on some of the characters in order to find exactly the look that you were trying to achieve. That's also a good way to do things for hair color, because what you get in the character creation preview, as we said, doesn't always match up with the way things look in game. So pay attention to those random NPCs, and you can look them up and be like, hey, what is Vegan Pete, who's an NPC in game in this situation, what green is his fro? And you'll be able to find it.
Metallic lime green. It's a custom color no one else can have.
Hyperpixie said that Pete said the row explanation like it was something he just learned, and he was super proud of it.
I will neither confirm nor deny.
And she's homeschooling mama right now, so she's got like that teacher brain going. So she definitely knows what it's like when someone just learns something and then re-explains it.
Teaching Pete lore question? Rows and columns?
Nope, because that's IRL. That's Teaching Pete IRL.
Well, thank you for that Greenleaf Minute, Avi. I think that's going to help out a lot of people. Now we got everyone's favorite segment is the Greenleaf Minute, but Avi's favorite segment. It's the tweet of the week. It is the tweet of the week. This one came in just under the wire from Deities or Tiesdes. They say, at She Heals I Tank, an alternative for Avi. Casting Eorzea, but instead of actors, it's all Bon Appetit chefs.
I love that. I feel like they're my friends. I'm such a dork. I'm like, oh, what's Claire doing today? Oh, Brad, what are you getting up to today?
In the time of quarantine,
so
Avi's best friends are Bon Appetit chefs.
It's so bad.
That she can't communicate with. She just watches them all day.
It's so bad. I was so excited because she made a banana bread old fashioned, which you guys, I am totally going to try this, but it's going to take me like 2 weeks to infuse some whiskey with banana, and then this is happening. Like, it's my cooking friends. I don't have any cooking friends. Okay, they all moved away. Anyways, actually, Pete,
I would think you would like culinarian more.
I'm an IRL culinarian. I'm not going to go out. Well, I actually was about to say I'm not going to go out and like break rocks, but I actually like have been
now you're
doing
botanying.
that too. Yeah. Well, I'm not at the botanying stage first. You got to mine first, clean up the ground, and then I get to botany.
Yes. Botanini.
Will you make me a botanini?
Well, thank you for that tweet of the week, Deities. Really appreciate it.
Saved Pete.
Now it's time for news and notes from around the realm. Maybe the biggest piece of news this week and really today. The person largely responsible for the rebirth and success of Final Fantasy XIV has a big old birthday today.
You know, tweet of the week, like tweet of the week.
I don't have a birthday one, but since you requested it,
it's the tweet of the week.
Doesn't really make sense in that context.
I feel like it's the most
Avi.
exciting sound bit that you have. Douchey, but it's exciting. That works.
It's Yoshi's birthday.
Happy birthday, Yoshi. That works. Yes, I don't know.
So happy birthday to Yoshida. If you happen to see his character in game, wish him a happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Or on Twitter or wherever you want to. Or you know what?
Or if he's not quarantining and you see him in real life, tell him to go home.
And have a happy birthday. We also, as I'm sure a lot of you guys know, have gotten some new optional items. The biggest of which was the Megdaka attire. Daka. I actually haven't seen the proper way to pronounce this one.
Oh, I know how. Diaka.
He's making that shit up. So the most prominent element of this glamour piece, which is $18 single character, is the robe, and it's similar to like the Titania kind of pixie attire. It's very pretty. It's long flowing robes with butterfly wings and very prominent sized butterfly wings. And
I think they're pixie wings.
But they're butterfly wings. And what's so it is dyeable, and it is available to all races, which is wonderful. All races and all genders.
I was about to ask.
Yeah, that was sorry. And so it's great that it's dyeable. The only thing that's kind of annoying is that your accent color is purple, which is not a color that's easy to match with everything. So it's dyeable, but it's kind of limited on how you can dye it, because whatever you dye it with has to work with light purple, like a lavender kind of color. It's really cool because it does dye the wings, so the wings actually do change color. I did see some people on Twitter ask about like how we had the demon and the angel attire as well. If we had the option to turn the wings on and off, like how that would be really cool to have be a feature. A lot of people obviously would love to have the ability to add wings to any glamour, but that's not built into the game, so I don't see that happening.
Like a mutant pixie?
Well, like, no, like I'm wearing my normal dress and I just put on some wings like you do for Halloween costumes. Like your wings aren't attached to your shirt.
Oh, they just want more wings.
They want wings, yeah. Just the wings with whatever glamour they want, which would be fun, but I don't really see how that's a feature that could be added.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking like Esper and Chad. It'd be nice if like you could put on some wings and then all of a sudden fly. Like a mount is just some wings that attach to your back.
That would be amazing. Oh, damn, Esper, that's some brilliant. That's actually, I feel like, doable. But tricky.
Like that should have been the mount drop from
Titania.
Just like her wings that
instead of parasols, we got wings
that automatically go on your back.
Oh, everyone would have freaked out if we got wings instead of parasols. Oh my god. Maybe they could put in like that same menu, like parasols, and then now you've got wings. But I guess that wouldn't work because if the wings made you fly, it wouldn't work, which makes them
it'd
better.
have to be like a mount.
That would be really cool. I mean, it'd be really easy if they just made the wings and then when they were stationary, they didn't actually flap. They were just wings, and then when you flew, like pixie dust flew off of them, it would be super easy, and they could obviously do that, no problem.
My wings better flap.
But if they flapped, it would be trickier to do, but it would be cooler, obviously. Yeah, that would be so cool. That is a great idea, you guys.
Start asking for it anytime there's a fan event.
So anyways, the Megdaka attire also comes with a circlet. Comes with a circlet, which is like a tiara, a crown. What's really cool about this particular one is it doesn't just like float randomly on your forehead. This one actually goes all the way around the head, and they put it far enough out that you can see it with most hairstyles. So it doesn't clip with any of the hairstyles. Sorry, Pete, your fro is not going to work.
We'll see if it still clips with the fro.
Everything clips with the fro. But I do like that. So the Rothgar males and the Vieras, well, there's only males and female, whatever. But you can actually see it on those particular races, which is wonderful, and every race and gender can wear it, so that's great. The set also comes with bottoms and boots, which are completely and utterly disconnected from the rest of the glamour. Like you've got prom dress pixie princess, and then she's got like her riding boots on and some like brown pants tucked into them, and she's like ready to go. So it's like the mullet of glamours. So you're like all business, business and party in the front, or party in the front, and then business underneath. I don't know. So they actually are really nice looking boots and pants. They're kind of aesthetically very traditionally elven. There's like vines and stuff. So like any other lore you're gonna look at, like Lord of the Rings, Skyrim, all that kind of stuff, it's got a very elvish look. But they are
Keebler.
pixie in 14. But we did not get gloves, which I thought was odd. So we got these weird, toe chucking boots, but no gloves with our princess outfit.
Pixies don't wear gloves. They never have.
Yes, they do. They're freaking. They've got the long gloves that like attach to the fingers and goes up and like, bitch, don't even try.
I was just trying to see if I could get you to believe that.
Next, we get a new mount. Well, it's kind of like an existing mount that's been recolored for $24 account wide. It's the Rubelite Carbuncle, which makes sense because we had the blue and the yellow. So now we've got the red. And just in the same way, now we've got the Ruby Carbuncle attire, which is the exact same attire that we had for the Emerald and the...
I feel like this is taking advantage.
What's the other one called? Emerald and...
Sapphire?
Topaz. Or Sapphire and... No,
one's Topaz.
Topaz. I don't know. It's blue, yellow, and red. I don't really care. I don't play Summoner anymore.
Emerald and Topaz.
Thank you, Chili. Of course you know.
But Chili says, remember, you can dye the Emerald and Topaz. Can you dye it to Ruby and make it just like Ruby?
I don't actually know that answer. But it is $18, and it's for a single character, and that comes with the attire, which is the ears, the jacket, and the boots. And for $6, you can buy the Ruby Carbuncle slippers, which are the exact same glowy red carbuncles, but on your footsies.
Also, the same
Single character.
ones from Wizard of Oz.
No. And the other ones are all dyeable as well. So, like, if you have the other carbuncle slippers, you don't actually need to buy the ruby ones because you can dye them and they'll be ruby-like. Oh, yeah, Chili knows. I forgot. I got him all the carbuncle stuff for his birthday. That's why he knows.
Well, if you want to look like a carbuncle, if you want to look like a pixie...
You don't look like a carbuncle. You look like somebody who, like, raises carbuncles and you're wearing parts of them. Like, you raise foxes and you've got, like, a fox fur cowl and, like, the ears, and then you're wearing them on your feet, but you're riding a live one.
Well,
that's what you look like.
If you like to slaughter carbuncles and you want everyone to know, then the Ruby Carbuncle attire is for you.
It does look like you skinned a Carby.
And an anonymous gifter has just gifted 5 subs to the community.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much to Mr. or Mrs. Anonymous. We really appreciate it.
It doesn't have to be one or the other.
Or just you.
Thank you, Anonymous. Whoever you are, I really appreciate it. We both really appreciate that. Yeah. Ooh, yeah, I have my Moogle slippers. They're in the back. I actually don't wear them very often anymore because they're really hot.
Okay, so next up we have the developer diary video, and Anonymous.
Well, thank you, Talon.
Anonymous has outed themselves.
It wasn't supposed to be.
It was me.
It was me.
Give me the praise.
I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Talon.
You're a sweetheart.
Developer diary video, the last in the series, and this was like a bonus one because it was only supposed to be 6.
It didn't feel like it ended up very strong, and so I actually think it was a really good idea that they ended with the developer
bonus.
one. It felt like a stronger way to end the series, personally.
And this one focused on the Nier Automata and Final Fantasy XIV collaboration raid. And they had Yoshi-P, of course, and they had Yoko Taro. And I can't remember the other guy's name off the top of my head. I think it was something Saito.
I clicked it, and it's not loading. And I was trying to have it there so I could talk about it. And, Yoko Taro, the director, and Yosuke Saito.
Hey, I got it right.
There we go. So the director and the producer of the Nier series.
And I thought this was a really good one. I thought it was mostly good because of the Nier guys giving a little more insight on how they were thinking behind developing the raid.
Yes.
Yoshi-P in general seemed a little hands off on this one.
But that was the point.
Yeah.
He was like, I was just here to make sure they stayed within the realm of 14 and the Warrior of Light.
It was like any nuance that they couldn't really decide on, they would go to Yoshi-P to get his input.
What I liked about it too was that I felt like I was watching 3 friends talk about something they're really passionate about, and it was just really sweet and cute to see them kind of joke together.
They go into how Yoshi-P got him drunk on steak and wine.
4 bottles of wine amongst the 3 of them. That's pretty good.
And convinced him to do the crossover event that
cute.
way.
It was really cute.
That sees to be Yoshi-P's modus operandi.
Good steak and booze.
Just getting people drunk and be like, hey, you want to do a collaboration? Yes.
But they also mentioned that at the different conventions and stuff that they're all at, the people always were asking for a Nier and a 14 collab, and
not necessarily a collab, but a lot of people asked him can we get this style outfit in the game?
I was about to get there, and then they said the easy way to do that would be to give them just the outfit and have it be a simple thing where they get the outfit, but they wanted to do more. And I actually think they wanted to do more because they enjoyed each other and they wanted the opportunity to work together. And so by having it be the full 24-man raid gave them the opportunity to actually work together for longer. And that was really, really great. And
so
they kind of talked about
155 more episodes
coming. We were going to be doing Nier and 14 forever. What I really liked too is they talked about, which we talked about the story for the Nier raid coming in and how people were disappointed with it, and how I felt like this was them sort of dipping your toes in the Nier world and kind of introducing you to it. And then the story is going to open up once we get the further series in the raid. And the director fully confirmed that. And so I think that's a better way of storytelling for people who didn't play the game versus, hey, we're going to go into all the story and assume you know it. And then if you don't, you're like, well, I was just left in the other room while you guys went and had a whole party without me. Cool. I don't know what's going on. Can I have another drink?
Yeah, so it was a really good series. I don't want to spoil everything. Everyone should go watch it.
That was the last thing I was going to say. I wasn't going to spoil the whole thing.
No. Good job, Avi. Good reporting. Next, we're going to talk about the Live Letter Digest. Last week, we talked about the Live Letter, but pretty much all the information we got from that was either the English that was on the slides they were talking about or people doing a live translation of it.
That's because it's quick. It was it was done. Now we talk about it. So
yeah,
now people
it came out the same day.
They've gotten to digest the digest. No.
Well, this is actually put out by Square Enix, not a rando person.
Well, fine.
So this has all the slides that they used in the presentation. Of course, everything we talk about in the news, we will link in the show notes. But this also serves as sort of a official summary. They don't go word for word by anything like that, but they kind of paraphrase everything that they talked about in the live letter. So we're not going to focus too much, but there are a couple things that were worth mentioning that we didn't talk about last week. They said patch 5.3 was about 70% finished by the time they had to start working from home. So all the voice actors had already finished recording their lines, so that didn't have any part in delaying 5.3 at all. It just seems to be the process of getting everyone set up to work from home. That's the cause of the delay.
Oh, like, I get that. I feel like once we're getting everybody set up now, we're like, okay, go back to work now.
Yeah.
Now that you've got it good and you can work from home and get all your stuff done, undo all that.
Yeah, I think we're going to be home for a while. Or at least we should be anyway.
You are. I'm going back next week. Before you begin patch 5.3 main scenario quest, you'll have to have completed the Crystal Tower quest series and My Little Chocobo quest, which is way at the beginning. With the Crystal Towers series relevance to the main scenario, they decided to make it a requirement. Players will be notified of these progression requirements at certain points during the main scenario, which is really good because it is definitely easy to miss and forget those little side things. And they give an example so that if you recently started 14 and are progressing through Realm Reborn, a pop-up asking you to complete the Crystal Tower quests will be displayed before you begin the Heavensward main scenario, which I wonder if you say, nah, not right now, I just want to go see some dragons, if that's going to have any negative impact on you because you need to you may forget about it after that.
Well, hopefully they give a reminder, like every time you go into a new expansion, they're like, hey, you really should do this.
Remember this guy? I feel like it should definitely be like when you're about to go into Shadowbringers, it's like, you haven't done this yet. Before you can proceed into Shadowbringers, now you have to do this. I hope that it's a very distinct, like, not, they tell you in Heavensward, and then when you get to Shadowbringers, you're like, why is it not letting me do it?
So last week we had kind of talked about this, and they said it was going to be a MSQ requirement. We weren't sure if they were going to work that into the A Realm Reborn MSQ, like it's going to force you to do it.
I think they are going to eventually. That's probably part of the goal.
So this is more just giving warning to anyone who might have just burned through the MSQ to get to Shadowbringers because all you wanted to do was endgame. Before you are able to start patch 5.3, even if you've done, all the way up to 5.25 or whatever we're in right now, you're going to have to go back and do Crystal Tower before you can proceed with the patch.
No, I don't think you couldn't do Shadowbringers without having done it, Peter. It was already that way.
No, you can do it right now. You can be in Shadowbringers without doing Crystal Tower. You just don't know anything about it.
Oh, I thought it was required. All right. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, so now
it will be.
Before you go on to patch 5.3,
you got to go back. You're going to have
to go back and
learn some lore.
Get your learning.
Got it. That makes sense. I think it should have.
Which I didn't get from the translations we had last week.
I think it would have been cool if they, like, before Shadowbringers, they were like, hey, you have to do this story again. Like, make me
just
replay
to refresh yourself.
Yeah, because it's been so long, and I'm not going to play a character just to get through it. I don't know. It's not
and, that would affect people who did, like, the story skip.
Right. Well, they just skip it again anyways. For the Dwarven Beast Tribe, the settlement will be located separately from the Dwarven community, and we will be going over these quests in more detail in part 2 of the patch 5.3 preview.
I thought it was weird that it's going to be, like, separate from the Dwarven community. I thought they would have just done it there and, like...
I don't know. I have no...
Why are they making stuff harder on themselves? We already know where the dwarves are.
They are making it hard. Maybe these... Well, because they do have the other dwarf tribe where they, like, argued about their beards. So maybe we'll get to see the dwarves who have the different beard type, and those are going to be the ones who give you actual crafter quests. Because you're crafter, right? Not gather? Yeah, so the crafter quest... I don't know, because that would be kind of fun. I liked them talking shit on each other's beards. I thought that was fun.
I should be a dwarf.
You are a dwarf.
And in regards to Sorrow of Wurlit, they say, recently our solo instance battles have been quite elaborate, and this one is no exception. There won't be a new trial this time, as the resources for that were allocated into the main scenario. So that's your reason why we aren't getting a trial with the Sorrow of Wurlit, and we're getting it in the MSQ instead.
I'm okay. Like, honestly, the story in Shadowbringers has been so good that I'm like, you can kind of direct as much stuff as you want if the story is as good as it was. If the story's not as good as it was, then it's like, well, you directed it wrong. But hopefully it's as good as it has been.
And I have to say, I have been really impressed with the solo instance battles in the last couple of patches.
Yeah, we talked about how much
the
we
ones
enjoyed
for the relic were really good.
Yeah, I enjoyed everything with Sid. That was awesome. He's a hottie.
think the only one I didn't even like in Heaven's Ward was the one where we had to play as Thancred, because I was Gunbreaker already.
You just don't like Thancred.
No, I was already Gunbreaker, so I got like a pared down Gunbreaker abilities to use. Like, I'm sure that's fine for anyone who wasn't Gunbreaker and you only wanted a couple buttons, but me, I was like, God damn it.
Felt like your arm.
Where are my buttons?
View it like you're fighting with your arm tied behind your back. And you're like, yeah, still beat you. I don't know.
And for the second part of the Nier raid, they say, you'll definitely see some brand new mechanics in there. Are you buying it, Avi?
What?
Are you buying that we're really going to get brand new mechanics? Or is it just going to be a different type of AoE to step out of?
I mean, if it's got a different color or a different marker or a different something, it's different.
Icarus is saying he kept on trying to kill Thancred.
He should
have died.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
I agree.
As far as the daily challenge goes, the frontline will now include all frontline campaigns, as was highly requested, because the wait times on those are balls. In our current situation, we can't implement fixes or updates immediately, so please wait until patch 5.3.
I don't know if it was necessarily wait time. I think it was just like when a shitty one came up, no one wanted to do it.
That
like,
too.
we all like this one, but you're trying to force this one on us.
Yeah, there's the one that I really hate with like the tower in the center. I hate that one.
The ice tower ones?
No, there's literally like the tower everybody has to go up and you kill the robots in the center.
Oh, yeah.
I've only done it like 3 times because everyone that time that one's up, I'm like, nope, we're good. Not going to do that one. So I don't know what it's called.
In regards to the Relic Quest, the Bosjan Southern Front will be a special instance where you'll be able to play with many other players. While it bears similarities to the Forbidden Land Eureka, such as an exclusive leveling system, it's a sort of new content with its own new features. Weapons can be upgraded through 2 methods. One involves upgrading them as you progress through the Bosjan Southern Front, while the other involves upgrading weapons through different means. Whichever method you choose, you'll be required to progress the Save the Queen storyline. So I think like that instance is going to be where you get most of the story from, but if you level it outside of there, you're going to have to like go in just to get a little bit of story and some cutscenes, which I'm perfectly fine with, as long as they give us a way to do it outside of there.
Right. That is the big thing. I like to have the options. Like, that was kind of the thing even with the old super grindy ones until you got to the books, at least. Like, you could farm fates for things, or you had different options of ways you could gather stuff. Some were definitely more efficient than others, but if you just hated doing it, sometimes it's worth taking the long route because you have fun doing it.
I don't know if I necessarily needed a exclusive leveling system like they did in Eureka. Like your elemental levels. Like, I don't know why we still need that. Just give us our weapons, and we have to, like, I understand that they're basically the same thing, leveling your weapon and having like a separate elemental level.
Yeah.
But it's just like, why are you trying to reinvent the wheel?
Because people complained about the relic, so they tried to make something new, and it doesn't always work, and that's okay, as long as you try.
Just make my weapon eat the souls of those that I kill with it. And enough souls that it levels up.
I don't think our game is that dark. Sorry.
You must kill 1 million Garleans.
Oh, we've all played those games where you have to, like, it's a number of kills to upgrade. That's horrible. No one wants that. Yeah, Pixie just said that's the ebony blade from Skyrim. We've all done that. That's been dumb.
One.
It's been done. Not new. See, Venjik just says, Pete, have you played the Dark Knight class yet? I don't think he has. And if he has, he probably skipped the story
I
because
took
he's a
it
turd.
to 60, but yeah, I didn't really do it.
You should. The story I've heard is incredible. I actually really want to go and do the story and then never play it again. The amount of experience gained through the main scenario will be increased, so you won't have to do the side quests in order to progress. We did talk about this a bit. They also continue to say that we plan on eventually applying this change to quests in Heavensward and beyond. And as a note, if you use the Tales of Adventure, A Realm Reborn optional item to complete the main scenario, all Crystal Tower related content will be unlocked, but not marked as complete, so you'll still need to do it.
Yeah. So even if you skip the story with that jump,
you're skipping that.
You've automatically unlocked it. You don't have to do the quest to unlock it, but you're still going to have to do it.
Yes.
Not a bad thing.
I mean, it's a way of saying that, hey, this is actually really important to us that you do this, that you have the backstory for what's going to be happening with our newer content.
And Crystal Tower doesn't take too long to pop either.
Nope, it's pretty
So
quick
you
one.
won't be waiting forever like you might be for main scenario
Well, that's
roulette.
right now, though. I mean, who knows what it's going to be like in 6
But
months.
that's what everyone does. They ought to artificially lower their eye level so they only get that for the Alliance roulette.
But only the first one. Aren't there multiple raids that you have to do through it to get through it all?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
But-
only the first one is the one that happens with.
No, you get I still get World of Darkness occasionally with that thing. 'cause
Very
I
rare for me. I
I
get
don't-
Crystal Tower every time. Every time.
Get Labyrinth of the Ancients. It's all part of Crystal Tower.
I'm sorry. Yes. It's just ridiculous. It's boring.
They talked about the Unreal Trials. Something that I thought was pretty interesting is Yoshi-P said, some members of the development team felt that Titan deserved to be the first Unreal Trial, but Titan's difficulty on release was around that of current Savage fights, which we felt was too difficult for the first Unreal Trial. Instead, we decided on Shiva, as she has made a sort of appearance in Eden's verse.
That's actually kind of nice to hear because I remember Titan being really hard. Like, normal Titan being hard.
And I think maybe it was on the Savage level because of the lag. Like, if you had any lag at all, it was really hard to get out of those.
Yeah, puddles.
We just called them pancakes.
Or the pancakes, yeah. Puddles or pancakes. Oh, that one was... And in regards to flying in A Realm Reborn, they said that we believe that seeing veterans players flying around will serve as motivation for new players to keep going. So we wanted to implement this at the same time as the Realm Reborn main scenario revamp. Additionally, A Realm Reborn was not designed with flying mounts in mind. So the sound team graciously re-implemented the ambient sounds for the areas from scratch. That's a lot of work. We also did our best to make sure there weren't any unexpected sounds while flying through the air in these areas, but we didn't have enough time to do a fully detailed check before patch 5.3, so we'll be fixing any issues as discovered. So go out and try to discover the weird flying sounds, guys.
So I'd imagine they just had like a flat area and they just had like sound regions.
Yeah.
So if you were like even up in the sky, I thought you'd hear that lizard on
There
the ground.
wasn't an up in the sky. They
I
had
know.
to create the up in the sky, and so then they had to,
So you just hear everything scurrying around on the ground while you're up in the air. That would have been pretty funny.
Well, no, you still can. There might be crazy,
Maybe.
weird sounds. So, like, go fly around. You're bored, go fly. Once this is up, go fly around those areas and see what creepy, weird things you hear, and then, like, share it with everyone.
I agree with what they're saying in general, when they say we believe seeing veteran players flying around will serve as motivation for new players to keep on going. I think that makes sense. The only problem is, how often do you see veteran players in those areas? You might see them like at the main city, the Limsa or Ulda, Gridania, those places where you can't have your mount out.
Yeah.
But how often do you just see them in Western Thanalan?
During the seasonal events?
I say, a brand new person going through, you rarely see any of the veterans out there.
It's very true. It's all right, though. Well,
And
we'll see.
the last thing that they mentioned was they are considering making it so only augmented versions of previous Tombstone gear is available for purchase.
I think it's a great idea because finding that item that allows you to augment the gear is frustrating because you don't remember what it is, so you have to be able to look online on a separate source, and if you're on PlayStation, that's annoying, and then you may actually end up buying the wrong thing, so then you just wasted the tomes that you wanted to upgrade the thing. Like, nobody wants the base undyeable version. Like, if you're going to get it, you're going to get the dyeable version. Just make less shit and streamline it. I think it's awesome.
Yeah. I hated having to go find those things.
Ace did comment that he feels like we're going to have to go back to old areas in the next expansion, which I think is great. We've talked about wanting them to reuse these old areas.
I think I actually mentioned that when we were on Work to Game. I was like, man, they keep on giving us more areas, and the old areas just become ghost towns.
Yep.
Why not reuse some of those? And I think, while they're going back and making a Realm Reborn flyable, it's a good chance to add some more quests there. Like, give veteran players a reason to go back to those areas. Like, if you want new players to see what you can become, all the cool gear that you can get, you need to add some quests to that area for higher levels.
Give me a reason to go there other than just to make sure that all my side quests are done.
Like, maybe put a couple high-level fates in those areas that drop some cool gear.
Yeah. It'd be cool to have something like the Odin fate that we used to have. We don't have anything like that in the older zones. I mean, like, in the older zones. So we got them in the newer ones, but, like, drop one in the older zone. Like, that's an easy thing. No, well, I don't know how easy it is for them to create the fate, but it's easy for them to drop it in one of the older zones.
And it just becomes like another thing to get excited about.
Plus, it's hilarious when a Lobby walks up and goes, "What's this thing?" Boom, you're dead.
I say and like you put it in an area where they don't necessarily have to go, but like if they see it pop on the map, they can go look at it.
I loved it when that used to happen when the hunts were new, and they'd be like, "I saw this really cool thing, and I went, and he one-shotted me." It's like, I don't know, and it's not like that character's just gonna sit there dead. Like somebody's gonna show up and res them. Like it's fine. It's just funny, like to have had that happen to you, and like I don't know, it's just one of those like MMO experiences that's just kind of a fun dynamic. At least I think so. Even Pixie just said, I saw a hunt that was like level 60 when I was about level 70. Level 7. Yeah, but like they took off and made them, they didn't aggro. They used to like aggro. Yeah. And so you're like, now they're like, don't touch it. You gonna die. So it's just fun.
So yeah, anything to make those new zone or not the old zones a little more interesting, I think.
Make the old feel new.
Give people a reason to go back.
Spit shine.
All right, Avi, you got a question for me?
I do.
I'm undefeated in 2020 and overall.
This actually goes in conjunction with what we were just talking about because this is actually about older zones. It's not a multiple choice though.
Damn it.
So how many Thanalan
Asians
zones are there in Eorzea?
How many Thanalan zones?
Mm-hmm.
Are you counting the main city?
Like Thanalan is in the name.
No, you have Central Thanalan, Western Thanalan, Southern Thanalan, and Eastern Thanalan.
Mm-hmm.
4.
Is that your final answer?
That actually have Thanalan in the name?
Yes.
Yes.
You're wrong.
What?
I thought it was 4 as well. There's northern, southern, eastern,
northern?
Western, and central.
I said central.
I know.
Forgot north.
You forgot north. So the central was, I had a feeling, because it feels like most places there's 4.
I should have known that. North's where we went to go fate trains for the relic.
The fact that you said central, I thought for sure you're going to get it, because the rest are just your 4 directions, compass points.
For some reason, I remember them leaving one out. I don't know.
Nope. It was funny. So I opened up the Encyclopedia Eorzea, and I was like, let me see. And it opened to like Western Thanalan, and it's about the zone. And I was like, well, I'm not going to find a question here. And then somehow I was like, how many Thanalans are there? And so easy question to ask, but like one of those that can easily trip you up. So how many Thanalan zones are there, Pete?
5.
And what are they called?
North, south, east, west, and central. I remember central. That's like that's one of the newbie ones.
Yep. It's true.
All right, Avi. Something that I have been hearing a lot in the last couple weeks, really, is people complaining about burnout. I know we've talked about burnout occasionally, but, it's been a while, so I think it's worth bringing up again.
Well, I think we're also in a content lull. So I think
we're going to be in one if we're not in one now. Like when we normally get patch 5.3 or should have got patch 5.3, people are going to be looking for stuff to
like
do.
If you're not into the relic weapon and you're not a crafter gatherer, you don't really have a lot of stuff to do in game
even if
right
you
now.
are into the relic weapon, you're done with it.
Yeah, exactly. So everything was kind of quick right now. So we definitely very quickly got a lull in content to a point in that. So I think this is less burnout for the majority of people and more of a there's nothing to do in game that's exciting.
Yeah, and I still consider it burnout because you rush yourself through all the content.
Well, that's intentional. You do that to yourself if you rush yourself through content.
Burnout is self-inflicted a lot of times. Because I know I would be burned out on crafting if I rushed all my Sky Steel tools. But since I'm doing one a week, I still have something to do in game.
That's fair. I don't really enjoy crafting and gathering, and you guys have known I've been going through burnout for a while, and I think for me part of that is because we do this podcast, so I feel like I'm not allowed to take a break from the game. But
you do all the time.
No, but I've finally have fully taken a break from the game, because before I really wasn't. I was still making myself log in because I do this like guilt thing where I feel like I'm letting Pete down. I'm like letting you guys down if I'm not playing, because I feel like I'm like a poser talking on the podcast about a game I don't play. So there's this weird like guilt dynamic thing that kind of comes along, and by not streaming and only doing the podcast with Pete, it's given me permission to like really step back and play other games or go out and work in the garden and like not feel guilty about not playing. And that has been huge for me. But what's kind of interesting is that working from home has actually gotten me to log in more and to do the content in the game I never used to do because I don't really enjoy it. But I'm stuck at my laptop. So I have my work laptop and I don't have it on my work computer, but I'm stuck at my desk. So I end up logging in and going into Diadem and gathering or crafting in the Ishgard Restoration, which I still consider tedious and boring and monotonous and not something I actually enjoy doing, but it's something to do when I can't leave my desk. And then if my phone rings or an email or a task comes in, then I have to be able to like stop and do immediately.
Yeah, you can't really run battle content when you're on call.
No, I won't do anything like that. So I've been logging in during the day more for that, but I've never played the game this way. So it's definitely a different way to play 14, which has been kind of interesting.
And I can tell that even though you think it's, tedious and whatnot, you have been learning how to play them.
Of course.
And I can tell you get excited about when something clicks for you.
Yeah.
Like you were crafting you've crafted before, but you haven't really crafted before. You haven't read all the tooltips. But since you wanted to get scripts to get some items from Restoration of Ishgard that you buy with those scripts, you were actually learning how to get the quality up on items so you could get as many scripts as you could.
I gathered for like 3 days in a row and I was like, all right, like while I worked, I was like, I'm already like done with it. And one time I was in Diadem the entire time before I got distracted by work. Like I was usually in there for like 30 minutes and then I had to work for an hour and a half or whatever. But that got really boring. And I was like wondering if crafting would give me more script, if it was like better to like take the things I'd gathered and craft with them, if that was better to make script, and if I would enjoy it. And then also my crafters weren't max level. So at least even if I'm not getting the max amount of script, I'm leveling a character at the same time. So it was like that combo. But so the joke is, and chat's kind of commenting on it, is I very quickly got my miner and botanist to 80. They were already almost there. My fisher would be a higher level, but you guys, they still have fisher abilities locked behind the class quests. Like a lot of class quests.
Did you know the fishing quests are the best quests in the game?
Oh my god, you guys. So I spent one day, I went and did level like 2 on, or 5, I guess, level 5 on of the fisher quest, and I got all the way to like 60, and then I just haven't gone back in.
Weren't you so excited when you caught that big marlin?
No. I did start to, so once I got to level, oh god, I don't remember how far I got, but like the harder fish where you had to start mooching and like kind of learn how to do it, I actually was catching the fish, but like the super low level ones I was just buying from the market board. But when they started to get expensive, I was like, nah, I'm just gonna go fish.
And then ever the capitalist, you're like, ooh, these fishes sell like a bunch. I need 3 for my quest. I'm gonna catch 6.
And then I would catch 4 and be like, fuck this, I'm done. This is taking too long. Who has the patience for this shit? So I'd sell 1. So yeah, I was not. But the other thing was, I had mentioned to Pete, I was like, I remember these gatherers having some really awesome looking gear. They had some, like, I remember the Fisher in particular had this gear set that was so iconically Fisher, but I couldn't do it because it was never a high enough level, and I couldn't figure out where to buy it. And then I happened to see somebody wearing a minor chest piece that was like kind of similar to it, and it's script gear. And I have script. I don't know why. I don't know when. I don't know how. I have script. But I had enough to get all the pieces I wanted. So now I have a separate glamour plate for all 3 of my gatherers because their chest pieces are amazing, you guys. Especially the Fisher. Oh my god, the Miner. And the, god, you guys, they're worth it for the glamour. They are.
So I'm going to say playing a different job or something you have never done before might necessarily, it won't fix your burnout by any means. But if like logging into Final Fantasy, you like staying in touch with your friends and still chatting with them, but you're just like, oh my god, I don't know what this game has for me right now. try playing a different job. So at least you still get to chat with your friends.
Well, this isn't even a different job because that's like going from healer to tank, but you're still doing dungeons. This is like a different aspect of the game. Try gathering.
It's a different ride.
Yeah, it's totally different. And again, I can't see myself personally, and it's totally cool for people who enjoy it, but I can't see myself like being excited to log into the game and craft and gather. That's not if I'm doing tedious stuff, I guess I'm doing tedious stuff IRL. Like I'm actually gonna weave a damn basket. Like I'm gonna make something really tedious.
See, that seems crazy to me.
That's in real life. Like that's me. But the fighting and the killing of stuff, I guess I'm not gonna do that in real life. So I'm gonna go and do that.
Yeah, I see people weaving or knitting. I'm like, no. That involves learning an actual IRL skill, which I'm not about.
Oh,
I'm just gonna do them in game.
I really want to learn to do pottery. That's my new when this is all done, I am legit taking a pottery class. I want to make my own plates and stuff. That is something I hardcore want to do. If there's a craft, you can guarantee an IRL craft. I've done it at some point.
Pottery places.
I've been to the ones where you paint the shit. I don't want to paint the shit. I want to fucking use the wheel and my thumbs, and I want to make a bowl. I want to make my own pots for my plants. I want to make my own stuff. I legit want to be in it.
Maybe that can be the next job in 14.
I wouldn't, but I wouldn't play it in game. I want to do it in real life. I want to make my own pots and plates, and then when you break one, I will cry, and you'll feel horrible, and you'll buy me my own little pottery wheel.
But the point I'm trying to make,
sorry,
Avi just wants to be contrarian on stuff, is try out a different job.
No, I agree with that.
Burnout.
I'm not being contrary on that. I think that's great. I was just talking about. I after playing more crafters and more gatherers, I understand based on my personal personality why I don't do them in game.
Personal personality?
Shut up.
So yeah, because I've known people who are like, man, I just can't take Paladin anymore, and I was burnt out on Paladin before Shadowbringer started.
You're such a hipster. I was burnt out on Paladin before it was cool.
That's why I went to Gunbreaker to begin with. Because I had
I think that's why every paladin went to Gunbreaker.
No, there's still a lot of paladins out there. I had main paladin since A Realm Reborn. I started playing a little bit of monk.
I know. I kept
end.
trying to get you to change, and you were like, I'm a paladin.
I didn't like warrior.
Look at my green butt cheeks.
I say I didn't like warrior, but I only got to level 35.
Hey, give it a shot.
I am actually to level another job and keep the interest for me. I've started leveling warrior again.
Cool.
And it's super dumb easy, but
I've been I still would like to level white mage because I'm curious to play white mage, but I also know that currently I don't have the desire
I have white mage to level 80. If you need any tips, you just let me know.
Hey Chili, you got any tips for white mage? I I just don't really want to do endgame content right now. But I do like that white mage has kind of become what I always enjoyed about Scholar before, is that you're the DPSing healer, which I always enjoyed. But I'm enjoying destroying the dirt in our yard right now. That's where my energy's going instead.
Just doing a lot of crafting and gathering in game too. One thing that you've actually got to that I never have, because overall I was pretty disappointed in Restoration of Ishgard. I haven't even got myself one of those Kupo scratch off cards.
I know. So my first Kupo scratch card, they had the Dalmo mount as an option, and then Pete was like, "Ooh, you're doing it," and I was trying to be nice and inclusive, and I was like, "You can pick where I scratch," and the spot that I would have picked if I hadn't done that would have gotten me the mount, and I legit went to bed that night, and I was like, oh, I wanted the mount. I was thinking about it. If I hadn't been nice and tried to be inclusive, I'd have gotten the mount. And that was the mob in game that I was like, they should make that mount because it'd be so cool to ride around on a giraffe.
Well, you'll never make that mistake again.
Yeah, I tried. Ace asks if I have ever tried playing Astro. I have tried playing Astro, and I just it never clicked comfortably for me. It felt like learning a new class where I've played White Mage and I've played Scholar, and I can comfortably grasp those classes pretty easily, but for some reason there's something about Astro where you feel like it feels like I have to kind of like disconnect, or it just feels like I'm playing like a version of a scholar and also a version of a white mage, and I didn't really like that about Astro. Plus it's just a lot with the cards. I feel like I'm that person like, wait guys, let me just get my cards ready, okay? I don't like being that person.
And Icarus says they got all of the rewards like in 2 weeks while they were leveling their crafters and gatherers, so maybe the Dommel is not so hard to get, and you just got to stick with it a little bit.
I know that Rose got it on her first card, and I would have loved to like been like, me too, twinsies, but it didn't. I was nice and it didn't work out. It's okay though.
So if he got it in 2 weeks,
it'll take me 6.
I was gonna say, I don't like it. Kind of confirms my suspicion that it really didn't add that much to.
They're fun.
Everything.
I do enjoy the scratch cards, but like it's a lot of bullshit like firework stuff too that you get. And so it's
Icarus says the mount's like 10K.
Oh, it's for sale? Oh, I didn't know you could buy the Dommel mount actually. So I guess I should go do that because that's way easier. But I was just trying to get all my crafters leveled while I was waiting for work.
Yeah.
Avoiding doing work training, which is what I should be doing in my spare time. But
just wanted to quickly mention some burnout since I had been seeing people talking about it.
Well, even our FC officers we've kind of had some conversation about how none of us are really logging on and having to like consider opening roles up to more people to make sure that we keep our buffs up and everything like that. So it's just kind of interesting to see that like it's definitely like less people are logging on right now.
I don't know why we don't just make a role called Buff Bitch and give it to whoever likes putting buffs up.
It's kind of amazing. I'll bring it up at the next officers meeting.
And it's okay to be burnt out. You don't have to feel guilty. Like Avi's very much her mother's child with the guilt.
Yes.
You don't have to feel guilty about that. You can still keep in touch with people through Discord. You don't have to worry about disappointing people. They're all going to be extremely happy when you come back in the next patch for the story. And if you don't come back, still keep in touch.
That's okay. That's what Discord is for. That's what Google Hangouts is for. That's what all these different like options we have to keep contact with one another. Like it's totally fine.
And I think we have time for this, Avi. So let's get to another interview. We did 2 last week, and we have one this week from Siliconera, and the author or interviewer was Joel Couture. They asked, what inspired the storyline of Shadowbringers? He's asking Yoshi-P this. What interested you in exploring how fine the line can be between good and evil? Avi's distracted by a cat.
I have a cat on my lap. Yoshida says, even in modern day life, people already, I scrolled too far, hold different views on where to draw the line between good and evil. The same can be said when you look back on history, in which the claims of those who emerged victorious were deemed to be right, where those who lost were wrong. However, the developments in culture and education, everyone knows that the world doesn't work in a simple good is right and evil is wrong sort of way. I believe the world of Shadowbringers is a representation of that very idea. I love that answer.
I like the answer. I don't know if Shadowbringers really achieved it that much. I get that they achieved it in the view of Emmett Selk. He definitely, some people really liked Daddy Selk. And
how do you not like Daddy Selk? He's like the Pirates of the Caribbean Johnny Depp of Final Fantasy XIV.
But they did make him a very interesting character, one that you could have some sympathy or empathize with. Mm-hmm. So that was cool, but
my cat's being a dick right now.
No matter what happens, it always seems like we're always on the side of good. Like they never make it so there's any doubt on that.
No,
I still don't feel like they've gone that far in the whole good and evil thing. We've always been good.
I agree with you there.
Even though they could have done some stuff. They could have had more like villagers during Stormblood be like anti us. They're like, yeah, we know we're under Garland rule, but we have food in our belly. What's going to happen when they leave? Who's going to feed us? Who's going to rule? They could go in on more stuff like that, which they'd never really done.
I agree with you there.
The next question is, what thoughts went into creating Emmett Selk's backstory and character? What feelings did you want the player to go through as they journeyed with and ultimately fought against him?
One big goal we had in this story was to have players understand the Ascians. In order to do so, Emmett Selk needed to be not just an enemy, but a character that tries to understand the protagonist, the Scions, and the masses. During development, we never really anticipate or try to predict what kind of emotions players would feel towards certain characters or the story. We feel it is more important for us to think about what kind of ideas and principles to depict rather than what kind of emotions we would like to evoke through exploring said ideas.
I think that's a really good way of developing. You have to kind of have faith in your work that whatever kind of themes and story you're trying to tell is going to come through, and you definitely want people to enjoy it.
Well, and I think if you're trying to tell a story and you're trying to like force a particular emotional response so that the next thing you do is in response to that emotion, that it's going to get lost on certain people, and that's not good storytelling.
Yeah, well, I think you don't want to be like, oh, people are really going to like this, so I'm going to force this in here. Like, it's okay to like set up a story where you expect people to feel a certain way when this happens, and you're setting up. So
I get like the basic like sad, angry, but like I meant like with like Emmett Selk in particular, you love to hate him. You know, he's like that kind of a thing. And so he's the bad guy. And so he makes you sad here. He makes you happy here. And like of the basic emotions of the story, like that kind of goes. But how you further take and interpret the story, trying to force that, it's such a personal thing. So like the love to hate is very personal. And some people may enjoy him, but hate him more. Some people may love him more. Like that element, I think of is hard to control.
I think we're talking about different things.
Possibly.
Next question is, Shadowbringers may leave players feeling emotionally conflicted at its end. What interested you about making players feel a bit unsure about whether they're doing the right thing?
I touched on this in a previous answer as well, but I would be delighted if Final Fantasy XIV served as a catalyst for people to ponder about themselves, their surroundings, parents, siblings, friends, and society, instead of holding on to the idea that good is rewarded and evil is punished. That said, we are entertainers, not philosophers. Our greatest joy would be for players to enjoy the game one way or another.
Did it make you ponder your life?
Not really.
Yeah. I wasn't really conflicted about the ending at all. Like, I still thought Emmett Selk was an asshole.
Well, no, it was more so like, it didn't make me think about life. It made me think about the way that Final Fantasy XIV has approached storytelling more than anything. And it made me appreciate the fact that they gave a human element to the Ascians through Emmett Selk. And so I think I viewed it more that way, because there are other stories that do this.
It's about damn time they did it.
Right. Because before, the game had always been good guy good, bad guy bad. And I think it was bigger for Final Fantasy XIV as a game as a whole to do this than it was for individuals to kind of approach it in their personal lives, because this isn't like our only means for storytelling.
I think if they would have dropped a few more hints about the Ascians along the way, like throughout all of the expansions, and then like really kicked it off with Shadowbringers, I think it would have had an even bigger impact on me.
Maybe you didn't. You're a big story skipper though, so I can't really.
I didn't even skip story. I don't even know where you got that.
You've said it before with the older stuff.
It's a joke.
I did not know that.
Final Fantasy XIV has something for all types of players, from casual to hardcore. What thoughts go into creating content that appeals to both styles of player? How do you create a world that has something for everyone, and why is that important to you?
Nowadays, nothing is more valuable than time, and one's personal view is quite important. There are no standardized values, and what people like or dislike, or what they find fun or uninteresting, differs drastically from one person to another. That is why I feel it's important to have content that can accommodate various values in the world of Final Fantasy XIV. This is because having narrow-minded values will close off the world. I don't necessarily do anything in particular to accomplish this, but I try to find out what other people besides myself are thinking through talking about various matters with my staff, as well as reading many books and watching movies.
I was surprised by the watching movies one.
Why?
I don't know. Just wouldn't have occurred to me.
I mean, I think it makes sense to me, because if you're creating a visual medium, yes, it's a video game, and you're only trying to see what other people are doing through books and talking to people, you're missing out on movies because video game is kind of like an interactive movie.
I get it. I understand it. It caught me off guard. I thought it would have been more TV because we are a more episodic platform than...
You just meant TV versus movie.
Yeah.
Got it.
But yeah, I think this was a pretty good answer. He's not trying to put everyone in a box and be like, these people like this, these people like that. It's like, there's going to be some crossover. What thoughts, this is the last question, what thoughts go into drawing from older Final Fantasy? So if you have anything to plug on Community Roundup, now would be a good time to join that On Deck channel.
Oh, I forgot to remind people.
What thoughts go into drawing from older Final Fantasy games? How do you decide which elements, bosses, music of older games you want to incorporate? How do you do that without disrupting the story and feel of Final Fantasy XIV?
There is one point that the development team and I are always mindful of. We ensure that players who have played previous Final Fantasy installments are not let down when they play Final Fantasy XIV. At the same time, we don't want Final Fantasy XIV to lose its identity in the process. Though we do respect past titles of the franchise, XIV as a part of the Final Fantasy series would begin to lose its meaning if we simply cut and paste elements as is into our game. But that being said, like 14 is totally like the Final Fantasy fan base game.
A lot of fan service in it.
Yes, lots.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
No.
I think whenever they've done it with primals, I've never had a problem with any of the story leading up to the primal. As someone who hasn't played the other Final Fantasy games, those have all been engaging for me. The only time I've really had a problem was the Evilise raids, which I've talked about before. That story just didn't hit for me, and it seemed like it only really appealed to players who were familiar with that story already. Didn't do a good job of getting a newbie to the franchise interested in it.
But like even knowing that the Nier series was coming to the game, that they were doing a collaboration, that got you to play Nier.
Exactly.
So there's that. And I think that the fact that 14 does have that nostalgia element is why on Sundays you play the older games. I don't think you would do that with otherwise.
Well, it's because I don't want to seem like an idiot, and I want to get references that the game is making, which isn't necessarily a good or bad thing. It just is. That's the way it is. But I don't think any, like, the references that I'm looking for are more design and like, because the story's always been fine for me for what I know about the primals. It's just, my only one instance is the Evilise raids that I didn't enjoy. All right, no one's calling in for Community Roundup. No plug-in for people apparently.
Wah, wah.
But I've got one for y'all from Ilya Dalamik. I found this creator on YouTube because most of the times when you look up a guide for a Savage or a Extreme Primal, you get Ms. Tech and you get Mr. Happy. But now I've seen this person starting to pop up more and more, and they have some pretty good guides as well for Savage and Extreme. So sometimes you might be looking for a specific part that one of the other guides didn't really focus on. Try checking out this one. You never know. Might be your cup of tea. I know not every creator is appealing to everyone. So another person that you can go and try out. They have job guides, crafting up macro guides. It's a lot of Final Fantasy XIV stuff, but not solely Final Fantasy XIV. They do have other games as well. And now it looks like we got a couple people on deck. Let's bring in Chili first. Chili, how are you doing tonight, my friend?
I am tired.
Why are you so tired, Chili?
And a little quiet.
I got him.
No, I'm quiet. 1 second.
Oh, now you're good. Peek at you.
Well, we did 2 episodes of Moogle Go Around Radio today.
I saw you were streaming with Mione earlier, and Paul, of course.
Yeah.
And I caught him doing one even earlier.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. We had Riz from Tasty Peach Studios on earlier today.
Nice. Very cool. So are you releasing them both this week, or are you like going to stagger?
One will be Monday and probably the other one at the end of the week. Maybe early next week after that. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Riz's one will be first on Monday, though, because it's already edited. It's ready to go live in a way, but I'm waiting till Monday.
That's awesome.
Yep. I woke up in time for the end of that one. Oh, thank you so much, a Bat Kid, for gifting 2 subs to the channel. Thank you so much.
We really appreciate you. That's awesome.
We ended up giving away a $50 voucher because Riss was really nice, kind enough to give one. So.
Oh wow!
Cool. For their shop or for the game or?
Yeah, for their shop.
Oh, cool. That's really fun.
All right, Chili, where can people find you streaming those if they want to catch you up?
You can find us streaming at Talon Broadbent. Go check him out at Talon Broadbent.
Talon's on deck. He'll be able to promote himself.
Yeah, no. Moogle go round.
No, and she heals like tank.
Right.
I actually just made Chili a super awesome overlay and stuff for when he streams. It's very, very UK.
Yeah, if you want to catch Moogle Go Round Radio streaming,
you should.
You want to follow at Moogle Go or Moogle Go twitch.tv/Moogle Go Round Radio, and you can also download their podcast from iTunes and all of the podcatchers out there.
And if you happen to be a part of our Discord, we do have our streaming shit channel. It's just a bad name, but it's so bad it's good, right? That lets you know every time they go live. And what I like is because of the time difference, Chili will sometimes be streaming first thing in the morning when I'm working, and so I can have him stream
I think
going.
No matter what time of day it is, Chili might be streaming.
Very possibly.
All right, and the before mentioned Talon Broadbent is on deck. So Talon, how are you tonight? Can you hear us, Talon?
Doing well. How are you?
I am good. Let me turn you up a little bit. Thank you again for those gift subs earlier. Really appreciate it.
And for calling in. Pete was like, nobody's here.
And Talon, you have been streaming yourself, haven't you?
Yes, I have. But I actually came in here to promote a very special friend of not only She Heals I Tank, but almost every Final Fantasy XIV podcast or stream is Chili, because he's incredibly humble. Him and Paul both
yes.
they don't accept the love that we give them, and they really they have an awesome set of streams and content coming up here within the next few weeks. They got stuff lined up for months now. If you're not following them, you're really going to be missing out, so definitely go check Moogle Go Round Radio out on Twitch.
Yay, I love that you
Nice.
did that.
Thank you, Talon. And are you going to be streaming some D&D?
Yes, actually, this coming Monday, as you well may know, we're going to get our session 0 started to finalize a one-shot that myself going to be the DM and a few other content creators. We're going to jump in and do some D&D things, and then hopefully not this Monday, but the following, we'll get some D&D related content out for everyone to check out.
I'm surprised Pete's not joining you on that.
I am.
Oh, he didn't tell me.
Yeah.
I was like, he's always wanted to play. That sounds like something he would love to do. There you go.
So yeah,
I'll
be hopping
a few
on.
people in there.
I'll be hopping in and seeing if it's a game for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I hope that goes really well, you guys. Mondays at what time?
Well, that's going to be one of the session 0 things that we're going to flesh out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be Paul and Chili from Moogle Go Round. It's going to be Flatus and Shin from Maelstrom Radio.
Mm-hmm.
Susan may join us,
Cool.
And Pete from She Heals I Tank.
Nice. That sounds like a lot of fun. I hope you guys have a blast.
Little D&D Final Fantasy creator version.
Yeah.
Well, anything else you would like to shout out? Shout out your channel, Talon?
Sure. If you're interested in following me at all, I'm getting ready to ramp up some pretty good content coming up myself, with a lot of people helping me along the way. So you can follow me at twitch.tv/Talon_Broadbent. And a new emote is actually coming to the channel, our very first one. And I looked at the preview for it today. It looks gorgeous. I can't wait to show it off once it's ready.
What's it going to be? Can you tell us?
You just have to sub, Bobby.
Oh, okay.
So I'll give you a hint. Everyone's seen a Moogle emote. Everyone's seen a Cactart emote. But and a Chocobo, right?
Uh-huh.
What's the one Final Fantasy monster that's pretty iconic to the series that you don't see a lot of?
Oh, that's harder.
A Mogtwarbo.
What? A Goobu? No.
No.
I've seen a
Carbuncle?
Gugu.
No, we see a lot of carbuncles.
Oakenhop says Tonberry.
Oh.
Tonberry? Nope. Just as deadly, though. In the right context, just as deadly.
Mandrake. Mandragora. Sorry.
Nope.
You know what I meant. Mandragora is basically a mandrake.
Right. Nope. Not as detailed or ferocious.
I don't know.
Well, I don't know if we're going to be able to play 20 questions right now.
Chat saying
but
poo?
You'll just have to go over to Talon
a
underscore broadband.
Amumba?
Oh, do you say a bomb?
Ahriman?
A bomb. Like
what?
the cherry bomb, the
Bomb. I heard bum, and I was like, what? That's why I was so quiet. No, I think cherry bombs, that's great, actually. That's a wonderful one. Yeah. A ba-bomb, yeah. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to
Super
see it.
excited to show that off. So there are a few people who are already subscribed. So if you want to use that and put that everywhere, make sure you sub.
Yay. It's always so exciting when you get your first emote, too. That's so great.
Yay!
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Talon, and thank you so much for calling in tonight.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, Pete, do you have anything else you wanted to add?
That is it for tonight. That's it for me, Avi.
All right. So on that note, we go into the outro. And so that is going to be it for this episode. As always, we've enjoyed hanging out with all of you live here on Twitch. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. Be sure to hit that follow button so you know the next time we will be going live. And a big thank you to everybody who did the gift subs, Talon, and everybody who said you guys are wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was so much. And also, of course, thank you to everyone listening to the podcast through iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify. My brain is not working anymore. You really are the reason we keep making episodes. And remember, wherever you do listen, it would mean a shit ton to us if you gave our little shit podcast a rating or a review. Or more importantly, just tell a friend to check us out. Here with Vegan Pete, I am Avi Ale, and we will talk to you next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.